Good afternoon, and welcome to the online demonstration of Empower's brand control. If you're watching this video right now, it's probably because you're familiar with these scenarios and looking for a solution to solve for what we call the creative presentations. The wild email signatures that users make themselves, or the outdated Word templates, which are no longer allowed to be used, but somehow they are actually still in use. And last but not least, the corporate images that your workforce downloads from Google and uses without thinking about trademark or image rights. Why is this exactly happening in your company? Well, you're not alone, by the way. It's a widespread challenge, but quite simply put, Microsoft Office is used for productivity, not corporate design compliance. And since most employees are not designers, they will take the path of least resistance and choose productivity over brand compliance. Now, what's the result for your brand? It's quite simple. You feel as though you don't have one concise brand identity. Instead, you feel like you have many brands with multiple variations, and that's because there is no uniformity in the documents. It's fascinating that today, despite the heavy investment in building and communicating the brand, there is no control over your compliance across all Office documents. The choice is yours. You could be okay with this situation or not. The Empower Nielsen Microsoft Office study conducted with more than 2,000 respondents suggests you better not settle. And here's what we know. Almost half of all documents do not conform to the corporate design, and 78% of all users regularly send these documents to your audience. These inconsistent documents dilute your brand and cause confusion with your audience. Just ask yourself how many documents your company sends out today, the next day, the following day, and every day thereafter. The cycle is endless unless you decide to do something about it. In this video, we'll demonstrate how Empower can protect your brand in every Office document and how your colleagues can easily adhere to your company's brand guidelines with our brand control rather than ignoring it. The ultimate goal is users should never again find themselves in conflict between productivity and brand compliance when working with Microsoft Office. We accomplish this by integrating our brand control software with the most used Office programs, PowerPoint, Word, Excel, and Outlook. You can see this integration here in PowerPoint, for example. An additional ribbon is inserted into PowerPoint, and it's prominently placed between the file and start. It contains all of the functions and features one would need to create and design consistent documents with ease. Specifically, there are 4 areas where the software helps you and your users. Let's start with the first one and look at how brand control makes your brand assets available to all users. Brand assets are all the components that the user needs to create brand compliant document, all the document templates and all of the design elements. The value is to integrate all of these elements directly into the user's workflow within the document creation process. After all, if the user has everything they need in the workflow to create brand-compliant, compelling documents, then they won't get creative and stray off course using non-compliant materials that minimizes your brand. The most important step is to start with an up-to-date document template. And that's because the templates are the number one basic requirement for brand-compliant documents. After all, design specifications are defined in them. If the user starts with the right template, we're on our way to success. It's more than half the battle. Providing the templates is easy within our brand control solution, and that's because the solution will automatically open the correct template when launching the MS Office application. And this is what we see here in PowerPoint. The same in Word, especially with Word documents. When required to complete the data fields, the end result can vary greatly, as some users neglect to do it at all, or some only complete certain fields. Even worse, some may fill in the data incorrectly, which may lead to legal consequences. Brand control automatically fills in the template with the correct company data, profile data of the user, as well as the location data. In the end, this is a win-win for both colleagues and company. Colleagues have the time for other important things, and the company is certain they have the correct data. An up-to-date template is also directly available in Excel and in Outlook. Brand control also provides design-compliant email signatures. First, let's take a moment for an overview of the Outlook integration. In this overview, the user can see his signatures. I have here, for example, a German and an English signature. If necessary, the user can create additional signatures, for example, in another language or as a substitute for a colleague. Of course, all in strict compliance with all the design specifications. The result looks like this. In the new email signature, this is what the user experiences when opening an email. Brand Control now inserts the company, location, and user profile data that you just saw in the Word document into your company's email signature template. What's great about this is users don't have to learn anything new. They simply open a new email as they did before, and the signature is added directly within the Insert tab, Signature. The user can see all of the email signatures they have available in the Signature Manager and can switch between them if need be. There is also a campaign management feature. That helps the brand managers, which of course this view and function is only limited to them. Here they can automatically insert banners or images for a certain time frame into the mail signature of all users. For example, to draw attention to events or perhaps awards that they have received. It's also possible to run several campaigns in parallel for different user groups. Here you can see a campaign, for example. Here you can name the campaign, then set the time period and select the target group. All users in the appropriate group will then be included in the campaign. On the right, you can then specify where in the signature which banner should be displayed, and then done. What is key is you can always and easily update all the templates from the brand management in one central place, and this update will then be made available to all users within seconds. We've streamlined the process so you don't have to go to IT anymore. It's all done with 2 clicks. It's much simpler. Now, not only saving you time distributing the templates, but providing the certainty your users are now utilizing the right templates from now on. It's seamless now, as they have no choice but to start with the right template. Let's go back to PowerPoint. Here's another important thing about templates. If you have subsidiaries and several brands within your organization that require multiple templates, you can also set the software so that each employee only sees the templates that they need. Now let's create a brand compliant presentation. In the presentation settings, the user can first enter his data. Let's first enter John Smith and an email address of John Smith. And choose a location, New York, for example. By the way, these fields can be defined completely and freely and according to the needs of the company, with further or no additional input fields. After the data has been entered, it will appear at fixed positions in the presentation. This is also implemented completely according to your wishes. To make the data available, just click OK. In this example, you will find the data on the closing slide below. Let's continue with creating a corporate approved brand compliant agenda. This is also often an issue in companies because one user makes the agenda this way, another makes it that way, and afterwards, all the agendas then look different. You can easily create a corporate approved compliant agenda using the agenda function and insert it into the presentation. Here you simply enter the desired agenda items. We take here Times Classic, About Us, Main Part, and Conclusion, and press Insert. In the About Us section, we can now insert slides from our company presentation. For this purpose, there is a quick access bar in Brand Control. You find this area by clicking on the slides in the Brand Control ribbon. And then in the pop-up Quick Access bar on the right side of the screen, click on Presentations. In the Quick Access bar, you can store the most frequently used content from brand management, such as a company corporate presentation, and users can then insert this content from the Quick Access bar easily into their existing document. In addition to company presentations, you can also store any other presentation that is used frequently in your company. Up to 500 slides can be stored in this total area. Now let's insert the slides from the company presentation into our presentation. And now let's look at the main part. For the main part, we have to design new slides that do not yet exist. And this is usually the biggest challenge for the users. Why? Because most users do not know how to design great slides. and they are not designers, and MS Office provides little help on how to best create a new slide and which elements should be used. This is where the quick access bar for brand control comes into play. It contains slide suggestions and design elements that are directly integrated into the user's workflow, providing tremendous simplicity of operation and improved creative latitude. There are the slide templates. Here, text elements. Here, chart templates, table templates, icons, and images. With the slide templates, users can get ideas on how to display a slide. There is an extensive set of slides which we adapt to your brand design during the setup process, or we can create and design individually for you. You can also add your own materials here. If, for example, you are already working and have a nice set of slide templates, which was created by an agency, we can simply add these templates to our presentation. Now, users can fill in the desired templates with their content. For the purposes of this demo, we don't want to do that now. And then edit the slides by adding design elements. For example, you can insert text elements like a footnote here. If you insert an icon, here too you can choose between your own icon sets or the ones prepared by us, or perhaps a mix of both. They can be resized and repositioned afterwards. If the icon is to be changed again later, brand control can do so by double-clicking on another icon. Such details are important for user acceptance. The solution should be simple to use and user-friendly, even during detailed operations, so that the users like to use the software. The image sections of the quick access bar offers corporate-approved images that are to be used exclusively. Of course, these images can also come from your DAM, your digital asset management system, if you have one in use. Just tell us which digital asset management system you are using, and we can connect it to our brand control software via any API. The value here is twofold. On one hand, your users will no longer be interrupted in their workflow, having to switch to the DAM system for image search, and on the other hand, they no longer need to lean on Google for images and use incorrect or unlicensed images. They can just search in your digital asset management system. Then they can directly use the images they find for their presentation. For you in brand management, this means that Google Images in your company's office documents won't keep you up at night anymore. All you need to do is maintain your image in one place, the DAM system, saving you time and effort. This is a big win for the direction and acceptance of brand compliance, and we would strongly recommend that you connect your digital asset management system to Empower. At the end of the presentation, we want to make a classic summary of business numbers, and based on this example, we look at how brand control can also be used to fill in a blank layout from the Power Master template. Brand control also provides prepared diagrams and tables because most users do not know how to create them in accordance with their design. Both element types fit seamlessly into the placeholders, which is key. This slide is now also ready. Let's also take a look at what document creation looks like in Microsoft Word. We have already opened our letterhead and filled it in with the required data. Brand control now helps us, for example, if we want to write an offer using ready-made text blocks modules, we can simply add these efficiently and be assured we're adhering to the corporate design. For example, I first need an introductory sentence. Then I would like to use the individual text modules for my document. For us as a software manufacturer, it's common to have different setup packages for different versions of the software. Perhaps then I need a price table, maybe a license agreement that regulates the use of the software. Done. My document is now ready. Let's have a look on how to create a brand compliant document in Microsoft Excel. In Excel, brand control helps to format tables easily and quickly to create brand compliant charts. Here we have a table, for example, that is still unformatted. The native formatting from Excel does not help us because it is not design compliant, and it's not easy to customize. Our brand control integration allows you to add brand compliant tables and cell styles. Now that the tables can easily be formatted, we now want to present the figures contained in the table diagram. For this purpose, Brand control provides prepared diagrams in your corporate design, which can be selected via the sidebar. This means that our workbook is perfectly formatted and ready to use. So we've seen now how brand control embeds all your brand assets into your user's workflow to ensure brand compliant documents. Now let's look at how your brand guidelines are integrated into the user's workflow. Essentially, this means we write and configure your specific brand guidelines directly into the brand control software. So where Microsoft Office stops, Empower takes over, bringing your customized brand guidelines directly into the application itself. Why does this make sense? If we look at the MS Office programs, we notice that the corporate design will always be ignored when using the conventional formatting tools that it provides. Here you can see how users, when working in Microsoft Office, most of the time, they don't even know which fonts and font sizes really belong to the corporate design and simply use any of the hundreds of fonts or sizes available here. And even if they knew the correct font, they would have to search for it a really long time in this long list. Same feeling when it comes to color design. It doesn't look much different. Here you can integrate your color palette, but unfortunately, gradations will be unsightly. The problem, users will unfortunately use these color gradations, and all of these gradations are not brand compliant, as they are a percentage of the original color. And this problem always persists because the color pickers are not technically controllable, just like the cell and table styles in Microsoft Excel. In the formatting tools of brand control, you no longer see all of the font, size, and color fonts that MS Office created for the world, which was designed to appeal to the millions of businesses using their products. Now your users only see your design criteria. The fonts, font sizes, and color pickers are 100% matched to your corporate design manual. This is the same in Microsoft Word. And in Outlook, and in Microsoft Excel. The implementation of your brand's design manual directly into our software means users no longer question whether they are following the corporate design and are no longer tempted to step outside of it, as it's all in front of them, with plenty of options to choose from. No need to search for the right font or color in the Office programs, or search through the design manual to find the correct information. You simply use the formatting options in the brand control software. These control features are always right, providing 100% approved brand compliant settings. For those in brand management, the added value gets better. If you want to change a shade, a font, or a font size, it's no problem with just a few clicks. The brand control software allows you to do it in seconds without any previous knowledge. Your updates are then passed seconds later to all users who use brand control, so that everyone moves forward collectively as a cohesive unit. The third aspect with which brand control ensures 100% brand compliant documents is the possibility to transfer existing documents with outdated design into a design, or to update design elements onto existing documents. The problem is that the transfer options included in Office usually do not produce attractive transfer results. With every design change, this means not only for you in brand management, time-consuming and frustrating manual work for the change from old to new, but also for all the users who have existing documents that they would like to reuse. And in this situation, the following is now happening. Their users will wonder why this transfer could not also be easier, and why they now have to do such boring and frustrating work. Or worse, users do not even make the adjustments because they have neither the desire nor the time to do so. And this is at the latest time when you get really annoyed in brand management, because after precisely prepared and carried out design adjustments, you not only get the bad mood of the users, but also still the old documents in circulation. That is now over. Let's take a look at this document as an example. The slide master is outdated, and also the 4x3 format is from years ago. The font and color design is all wrong, and even the logo is incorrect. Normally, this would require at least 30 minutes or maybe even an hour to transfer this work and update the document. With brand control, this process now takes seconds, because we transfer the presentation into a new design at the click of a mouse. If you have a 4:3 presentation and have to switch it to another format, like a wider screen, like 16:9 when transferring, then the software does this intelligently by adapting the content to the new workspace. The effect can be seen here. In addition, a design check checks the entire presentation for all corporate design violations, which are automatically corrected in the course of the transfer. Elements that are outside the slide can be ignored, and there is even an advanced layout mapping that ensures that the transition works even if the source presentation and the current template have completely different layout structures. So if you as a viewer are now someone who says that this will never work out with our underlay because the old and new are structurally so different, then you have found the best solution on the market right here. And that's why with brand control, you can also guarantee outstanding results without annoying manual work and without the loss of time. By clicking on OK, the transfer is now carried out. Here you can see the result. The presentation was perfectly transferred and there are no more design violations in the underlay. Everything sits in its proper place. The underlay represents the brand in a high quality way and the user is ready. You can also see the implement a design relaunch in Word. Traditionally, new templates are provided in companies during a design relaunch, which can also be used directly as shown earlier. Often, however, existing templates are retained during design adjustments and only design elements are exchanged. The problem is after the relaunch, users often just use the letterhead that they have stored on their desktop for 5 years and therefore do not notice the design change in the Microsoft Word template. Brand control also supports the updating of the logo, for example, so that the documents that are still used even after a design relaunch are automatically updated and correspond to the corporate design. Here too, the user is ready immediately without having to be able to do anything special or learning something new. So as you can imagine, converting old to new is a critical step to the path of achieving company-wide document acceptance. Brand control can take you there quickly, and safe to say the experience is seamless for the end user. Without this feature of brand control, this task could not be realized. Just imagine how many hundreds of old documents your employees have and the likelihood of them converting each and every one to an approved brand compliant document. Realistically, just the thought sounds next to impossible, and it would be an incredible undertaking, and the chances of success are probably not that great, to be honest. Not to mention the man hours involved would be really immense. With brand control, your adoption of brand compliance can be achieved and realized as there is an incentive for the user, which is we make it incredibly easy to transfer data and save you countless hours. In the end, converting old to new will save your organization countless hours, and your organization's goal to achieve brand compliance will be elevated tremendously. As a final point in this demo, if we desire to take a closer look at specific design check features of the presentation and Word documents, there are automated checks in brand control that can quickly discover and identify all design violations that have crept into our PowerPoint and Word documents. So first, let's take a look at the presentation example from before and take a closer look now. There are errors in the title placeholders, incorrect fonts, font colors, fill colors, and wrong bullet points. This is exactly what the design check will now show us. And here we see all of the violations per slide. All these errors are now corrected exactly according to your brand guideline specifications. And again, this is important. The administrator can easily set these specifications up with just a few clicks in the system. The changes then not only affect the operation of the software, so that, for example, the latest colors appear directly in the color pickers, but the check also changes your test criteria directly and check for the new blue tone and the new font immediately after you designate the change. For the administrator, this means that you can implement and, above all, enforce any design change in seconds, because the check also checks for every change directly. You could also say that your design manual is practically automated, and the user has to do nothing more than press the check button to work correctly. Incidentally, it is also possible to have this check run automatically when a document is open, so that the users are automatically informed of any particular violations. Let's take a look at how this works in Microsoft Word. Here we see a document that contains some violations. The document check will now show us these violations. Here we see all of the violations. The document check features reviews whether headings have been formatted correctly, and if this is not the case, as here, then the document check shows us this. Here the check tells us that we can use the format heading as formatting for headings in this document, for example. Here a text highlighting was used, which may not be used. Then there are incorrect font sizes. This is followed by incorrect font colors. Here we can choose the ones that fit best. Next, the font does not fit into the corporate design, which we can also correct. The check also provides alerts for unnecessary spaces and incorrect breaks. It also verifies that the main page margin settings match the presets. And last but not least, you can also specify whether the check should review for compliance for certain spellings of words. For example, our brand name Empower should always be written with the trademark as seen here. In this video, you've seen how Empower Brand Control gives you comprehensive control over your brand directly in Microsoft Office documents, and why the solution makes it easier for users to follow your brand guidelines instead of ignoring them. Brand Control integrates your brand assets. It automates your design manual. It transfers your existing documents into the latest, most current design, and checks all documents precisely and autocorrects these violations, all within the application itself. So that concludes our session of Empower's Brand Control. I hope you found the information useful. We look forward to the opportunity of connecting so that we can understand your specific challenges to get to the heart of your challenges and provide a solution that can be leveraged appropriately. We can work with you to develop a concept for implementation so that you can be assured your users are better equipped to protect the equity of your brand in every document moving forward, and thus strengthening your brand's sustainability. We look forward to talking to you. Have a wonderful day. Until then, goodbye.